Hey everyone. I just am really excited about this talk, and it's been on my heart for a while, and I'm excited to share it with you. So I'm just going to jump right in because efficiency is how I roll. So this is a talk about how to be a nice human without being a people pleaser. So I just want to introduce myself if you're new to my world. My name is Jenny. I'm a homeschooling, home birthing mom of 6. And my heart and my passion is to help women feel empowered in their lives and to shut off anything that's not really them and live completely liberated and free. And so that's why I'm so excited about tonight's talk. So the first thing I want to start with is the meaning of being nice. So I did a Webster's Dictionary lookup of what does it mean to be a nice person, okay? And so Webster's Dictionary described it as pleasing, agreeable, delightful, appropriate, fitting, virtuous, and socially acceptable. And I thought, wow, like how all of those things are completely contingent upon how other people feel about you. And I thought that was really interesting that the whole concept of being a nice person is contingent upon what other people think or how they feel about your behavior. And so I thought that was a great place to start. When all of these things are socially acceptable. So that can be anything depending on what society you live in, right? So if you're in a society where it's proper for women to dress a certain way, then it's not nice if you don't dress a certain way. When I was growing up, I was in a society where women showing skin was inappropriate and it wasn't nice. Like we were literally taught that if you showed your skin, you were being unkind to men because you were causing them to lust. And, so this whole concept of being a nice person is really contingent upon what other people think of you. Okay, so I think, like everything, let's question, why do other people feel that way? Well, if I was to go into a different society or a different group of people, what would they think would be nice? And so your whole life is based upon what are other people thinking about you? How do other people perceive you? And I think a lot of us are brought up to live that way. Like it's our responsibility to make sure that we read into how other people feel and we make them feel comfortable. And that makes us a nice person and leaves us completely and utterly screwed in our lives. That has been my observation, that people who strive to be nice people become drained people. So I just think, let's challenge that and ask ourselves, what do I think is nice? And one way to look at that is really, what would you appreciate from other people? What do you think is nice? Like if I see another woman and she's dressed a way that's differently than me, like I don't feel any kind of way about that. I don't feel like she's not being nice or whatever. And so we're allowed to set our own standards of how we, not other people, how do we want to behave in our lives? How do we want to show up in the world, And what do we consider nice for ourselves? And so I think the most important thing at the top of that is how can we be nice to ourselves? And when you really grasp the concept of kindness to yourself, now kindness and niceness can be taken as the same word or it can be used in two different ways. But when you're nice to yourself first, you actually have a better energy flow to be nice to other people, to take care of other people, to love other people. And the awesome thing is you also attract people who will be nice to you, who will treat you in a way that's respectful, who don't walk all over you, who don't take from you. I call them takers because that's what they are. They take and they take and they take. And the only benefit you get from a relationship with a taker is that you feel good for being a nice person, right? Like that's the only benefit. And in a regular relationship, there's this give and take, there's this ebb and flow. It's all like a beautiful harmony in a regular relationship. But when you're in a relationship with a taker, there is only trying to make them happy and them taking from you. And what happens is when we are raised up, or we have come to the belief system that we have to be nice people, we attract takers, because they know that we will sacrifice and we will be nice in order to, because that's our belief system, that we have to be nice. And so they know how to work that system in order to take and take and take from you. And then you're just completely drained energetically. And so the most important thing, I think, is really focusing on our energy. Like, how do we feel in this moment? Now, I'm not talking about just simple emotions like, do I feel happy? Do I feel sad? But energetically, how do you feel? Do you feel drained? Do you feel enlivened? So we are living a life. So our goal is to feel full of life, right? Because when we feel full of life, we inspire others to feel full of life. We have so much more to give to our family, to our children, to our loved ones, to our friends, at work, however it is. So when we are full of life, we have more to give back. And so we want to take that energy scale, and I'm not talking only about like, are you able to go outside and run around the block? I'm talking about your emotional energy as well. Like, how do you feel at the end of the day? Do you feel like, oh, like you just got completely life sucked out of you? Were you drained by your activities that day? Then those are not, something has got to start to shift and change, because you want to start adding in and really just enjoying those activities that make you feel full of life. And, you know, if you look at like, is this behavior that I'm doing, granted, someone might have said, this is a nice thing to do. This is the nice thing to do for you. How do you feel afterwards? Do you feel full of life? Do you feel filled up? Or does your energy bank go down? You know, it's really, that's kind of your barometer on your life, is how is my energy going? Is it going up? Is it going down? And that's your barometer as to the things that you want to participate in. And so that's also your barometer of what is nice, because nice has to start with you. It has to start with your energy. It has to start with how you feel, because the nicest person in the world that's drained will eventually get unhealthy. They'll get sick in their body because their body can't take it anymore. And their body is going to start to communicate, no more of this. No, no, no. Right? And when your body starts to communicate that, then you have nothing left to give, literally, when your body shuts down and then you die. You know, like, it is that progression. It is that serious when you are giving from a place of abandonment of yourself, of obligation. I need to be a nice person. You are literally draining the life force energy from your body. And you can eat all the live fresh fruits and vegetables you want. You can go out and sit in the sun and stare at it all you want, which are beautiful things. You can walk barefoot on the ground. But if you are draining yourself of your life force energy by being a nice person and doing things that are out of your alignment, that are draining you, all the fruits and vegetables in the world aren't going to save you, right? And so we have to look at, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And it doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. I mean, yes, you can get out and journal, but really just check in. Close your eyes, check in. Like, does this feel like it's giving me life? When I was a kid, my mom worked with poor people, and she would go to their houses, and I remember her like on her hands and knees scrubbing and cleaning their houses and bringing hundreds and hundreds of dollars of food to them. And this one specific family I remember, this was she was being nice, right? She was doing the Christian thing because that was the religion that she is involved in and taking care of needy people. And so for her, like, she was doing the right thing, but I, as a child, was just observing. I was there with her. I was holding these kids that were like covered in urine, and their parents were sitting on the couches, drinking alcohol, selling their food stamps for cigarettes, and just sitting there while my mom was cleaning. And I would watch her come home completely drained of life force energy. She was just, she drained our bank account, she drained her time, she drained her body to be a nice person. And what she did was nice, in theory, by a standard someone else gave her. But I've also seen, the same person, my mom, go, and she's a deaf interpreter, and she would go and interpret for deaf people, and she would leave and she would be energized, and I would see the distinction between, even as a child, between niceness, giving, and draining. There are takers that are attracted to people who are being nice because it's the right thing to do. But when we set the standard of how do we believe niceness is going to look, who are we? How do we want to show up in the world? And how do we grow our life force energy? Because life force energy is actually the kindest thing you can give to the world. When you are all the way filled up of your passion, of your love, of your excitement, you're automatically spilling out into the world. The people around you will feel that. It will grow their energy. That's nice, right? And so we have to really relook at the standard of niceness, okay? And so what I have found is that people who tend to be nice because it's the right thing to do, because they're nice people, are doing it out of obligation. They're doing it because maybe not at this point, like this point, it might be natural to them because they've been indoctrinated into this is the way we are nice. But they're people pleasers, and people pleasers attract takers. I can't say this enough because people don't talk about this. They say, how do we avoid these type of people? How do we avoid we don't have to avoid takers. We have to change how we see ourselves. We are worthy of being in alignment with what gives us life. Pleasing other people is not giving you life. It's taking away your life. It's draining you, because the sheer act of people pleasing is from a lack mentality. It's from a mentality that you're not worthy of other people to love you just because you are. You're not worthy of having money just because you are. You're not worthy of having good things just because you are. But that's the reality. The truth is, you're worthy because you are. You are just born that way. There's literally nothing you ever have to do to become worthy. And we're raised that, a lot of us were raised in homes where worthiness and love was conditioned. It was conditioned on you being good, you being quiet, you being not a bother, you being, whatever it was in your family that made you worthy, that made you get love, right? For some people, you could get love if you got straight A's and you were the valedictorian of your school. For other people, you got love if you were the person who kept the peace in the house. For other people, you got love if you were sick all the time. There's a million different ways that love is conditioned as a child. And what we have to do as an adult is to say, people pleasing is not benefiting actually anyone. You're not benefiting yourself for darn sure. And you're not benefiting the people that you are pleasing, right? Because you're keeping those people in an illusion as well. And so for you, the standard has to be life-giving. And so I do want to talk about standards versus boundaries. And this was life-changing for me. So as someone who is learning how to love yourself, how to feel worthy, the first thing people talk about is boundaries. And what I found from personally, because I had no boundaries, zero boundaries. I had overabundance of people pleasing. I just wanted people to love me. I did not know how to feel worthy, feel accepted, because I was looking outside of myself. So when I started my journey of self-love and feeling worthy, I heard about boundaries, and these just felt absurd to me. Like, how can I do this and still be a nice person? I remember saying that to my healer so many times, like, and in my mind, like a million times. I don't know how to set boundaries and still be a nice person. Well, here's what I found. Boundaries have to be set because you have takers in your life. Now, this is a controversial statement, I understand, but this is my belief, and this is how I see it. Boundaries are set because you have people that are pushing and taking and taking. So if you, let's just say 100 years ago, whatever, you're trying to get some land, right? And you pick out some land and you build it for your family and you live on that land. You don't need boundary stones. You don't need stakes. You don't need any of those things unless someone comes along and tries to take your land. So I'll give you an example. We live out in the country. You can see here behind me, there's a big field. Well, when we first moved into our house, they told us when the tractors come, they will move in every year and take more and more of your land. So you have to keep your boundaries really strict. And that's what I'm saying. Boundaries are put there to protect yourself from takers, right? It's a protection. But here's what changed my life. This is a superior way. Standards. When you have a standard, it attracts a different type of person. When you say to yourself, like, I'm just not the type of person that gives to people out of guilt and shame. That's a standard. A boundary is, I won't give more than $100, or I won't give more than 10% of my paycheck a month, or whatever, right? That's a boundary, because you feel like people are going to come and they're going to ask you for more, and you're going to feel bad and you're going to want to give it to them. So you have to set this boundary for yourself or for them, or whatever. It's a protection. I don't want to spend more than 100. I can't spend more than 10% of my paycheck because then I won't have money for my bills. A boundary is, I don't give to anything that doesn't light my soul on fire. That's that. I don't care what it is. I don't give to anything. My standard, I don't give to anything I don't feel led to give to. I could see an entire family sitting on the side of the road, and if I feel led to give to them, by golly, I'm going to pull over and give to them, So that's my standard of living. This is who I am. I follow my own intuition and I trust myself, and I'll give when I feel like I'm going to give, and I'll give what I feel like giving. And that's been, for that, sometimes you have to stretch yourself to stay in your standards, but standards come from having self-worth. I value myself. When we moved in here, they weren't coming in our yard. That's that. This is our land. We bought it. That's that. And they never have, ever, and it was just a standard that we had. And we contracted with people who cut down trees, and we put tree clippings, whatever that's called, mulch all around, 5-foot high piles of mulch all around the edge of our property. They couldn't come in our property, right? We just had a standard that wasn't going to happen, right? When we first moved in, we set a boundary, we got all the mulch, we did this, but that was our standard. This wasn't going to happen. And so you have to, if you want to feel at peace, boundaries are like holding up. It feels like, like you're like holding up a wall. You're blocking things, right? But it's a blocking energy, and you don't want blocking energy, because hello, abundance, bring it on, right? You want to have open arms to abundance of love, abundance of friends, abundance of family, abundance of money. You want abundance in your life. You don't want to be in a blocking mode, right? And boundaries are no, oh, wait, stay out. Standards are, This is just how my life is. I don't accept takers in my life. If you want to make me feel bad for something, you can't do that, because I'm going to do what I feel led to do. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You know, like, I'm not going to feel guilty about not giving you money. I'm not going to feel guilty about not doing whatever it is that you want to do. It's a standard of self-worth, right? See where that all comes in? It all ties into that self-worth. And so, you know, I just think we all should learn to expand our self-worth to the point of having standards. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to show up as? How do you want other people to show up in your life? What are your standards? You know, I used to like pretend all the time. I just would be quiet. Everyone thought, oh, Jennie's so quiet. She's just so shy and quiet, you know. But people who know me, like, my nickname as a child literally was Jabberjaw Jennie. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not quiet person. But I had all these people in my life who didn't listen, who didn't care about anything I had to say. They only wanted to talk. They wanted to take. They were takers, you know. And then I set a standard of, I'm not going to be fake anymore. And if I feel like I have to be fake around you, I'm not going to blame you, but I'm not going to spend time with you to either figure out if it's me or you. You know, is there something that's going on in me that I need to heal? And that was the case. In some situations, I had to deal with my own stuff, you know, so that I could go and actually be vulnerable and be myself around other people. But there were other people who were takers, and I just let it go. Whatever, you know, this isn't a friendship that I want, because I have a standard of, I only want people in my life where it's a beautiful, harmonious relationship. You know, if I have a problem, I can come to you. If you have a problem, you can come to me. If something great happens, I can come to you, vice versa. It's this beautiful, harmonious relationship. And if it's a taker relationship, I'm not available for it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not going to attract it in my life anymore. Like, I have that standard. So that's where it comes in. How do you be a nice human without being a people pleaser? You have standards. You have a standard that you are worthy of being listened to. You are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of having a healthy financial situation that is ever growing. If you're an entrepreneur, you're worthy of your business growing. You are worthy of feeling healthy and vibrant in your life. You're worthy of not needing to do drugs, alcohol, whatever, to escape your life. You're worthy of having a life you can't wait to wake up to, that you're just obsessed with. You're worthy of that. And that's a fact. And when you can really get that in your heart and in your soul, you're going to be a nice human without being a people pleaser. And your whole life will change, because you'll start to attract other nice humans who aren't people pleasers into your life. And then your relationships are real. They're raw. They're authentic. You just show up as yourself. There's no fake, no nothing needed. I mean, people joke around about showing up at people's houses in pajamas, but metaphorically and energetically, that's the goal, right? To have friends that you show up at every given moment fully yourself and fully loved as yourself. There's no conditions, no, oh, well, if you don't show up with makeup on, don't come. Or if you don't show up with good vibes, don't come. You know, like, have bad days, we're here for you. Have amazing accomplishments, we're going to be the ones celebrating with you, right? We're not going to tear you down. Your accomplishment is our accomplishment. We are excited for you. And sometimes it's harder to find friends that will be excited for you than to find friends who will be sad with you. But the reality is, when you have those standards, you find them. They're real and they're out there. When you have standards, you attract them like a magnet, because it's who you are. And so that is what I wanted to talk about. So I hope that encourages you. If you want to go further into this, if you're just now starting out your self-worth journey, right? You know that you just feel like doo-doo about yourself. You don't feel like you're worthy of anything. You know, on a good day, you're kind of nice to yourself. But most of your inner voice is poo-poo on you. I love you to join my Own Your Worth course. It's 7 modules set up over 7 days, but you can take as long as you want. And it really starts to ground in that feeling of self-worth. in the most gentle, loving way. Because it is a journey to go from where you are to knowing your worth. Because there's a lot of deprogramming that goes into that. So I would definitely invite you to join that Own Your Worth course and really dig deep in there and feel that love that comes through that course. Every single module is set up with my energy pouring love into you, pouring your worth into you until you believe it. There's a little task every day that just sets that foundation of being worthy of everything you want out of life. You are worthy. You've always been worthy. It's never been in question. And if you are already on that journey and you are ready to go deep, you want to transform your life, right? You are ready for transformation. You are ready to heal from your past. You are ready to delve, just dive right in to the dreams that live deep in your heart that you've never told anybody, and learn how to manifest them without your past keeping you down. My Ultimate Transformation course is for you. I'm putting the finishing touches of it on it. It starts December 1st, which is beautiful. It will take you into the new year of a new you. This is the ultimate transformation, and your whole life will change. You're going to walk through all the steps of getting deep into your heart and finding out what it is you want and clearing out any block that's keeping you from it. Poof. Get that out of there and really let those dreams in your heart start to manifest. And you're going to have a whole new life by the end of it. You're going to be a completely different person. You're going to be the person you want to be, who you dream of, who you know that when you go on those journeys and you tap into that, future self, your, higher self, that's the ultimate transformation, is taking you out of who the world has made you be, who your life, who your pain, who your expectations and obligations has made you, and take you into your most authentic, beautiful, dream accomplishing self. And the whole world opens up for you when you can let go of all the things holding you back. And that's what this course is all about. And I'm so excited for you to go through this. So if you are ready for that, I totally invite you to join the Ultimate Transformation course. And like I said, you can get in there now, and it starts on December 1st. So I love you. I'm so glad you got to listen to this, and I will see you next time. Please contact me at I am Jennie Winter on most social media, Instagram, Facebook. So I love you, and you can email me, iamjennywinter@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, or just reply back to the email where you got this. So have a great night.